You didn't just take your first breath, you crossed a border. Picture it. You arrive like a ship bursting out of open ocean, unstoppable, unnamed, untethered to anybody's rules. Salt spray, wind in your sails, infinite horizon. Then, boom, you hit the harbor. And harbors don't run on freedom. They run on order. Out there at sea, you can drift, improvise, change course on instinct. But the moment a vessel enters port, everything changes. It doesn't simply arrive. It gets identified, documented, classified, inspected, governed. Because if ports operated on vibes, global trade would collapse in a week. Ships would vanish, cargo would be stolen, disputes would explode, people would die. So maritime law exists for a reason. Admiralty law exists for a reason. The ocean is wild, but ports are civilization. Ports are systems. That's why the International Maritime Organization sets worldwide standards. That's why SOLAS exists, safety of life at sea, written in the ink of hard lessons and historic disasters. Titanic didn't just sink in the Atlantic, it sank into the rulebook of the world. After that, the message was clear. You don't get to wing it when lives are on the line. Ships are built to codes, operated by protocols, inspected by authorities. Because one mistake doesn't just cost money, it costs people. And it isn't only about safety. It's about responsibility. Environmental law exists out there too. MARPOL, pollution prevention. Because the ocean isn't a dumping ground, and a ship isn't a lawless kingdom. A vessel is expected to move through the world with accountability. No exceptions, no excuses, no, I didn't know. Now, take that entire picture and translate it to you. Your birth wasn't just a moment. It was an entry. Your first docking. Birth registration is your dockside paperwork. That's the moment your arrival gets stamped into the system. Your name gets logged. A record gets created. An identity becomes legible to the jurisdiction you've entered. Think about how a ship operates. It carries papers, numbers, flags, certificates, registrations, call signs, proof of origin, proof of compliance. Without that, it can't dock, can't trade, can't insure, can't move freely through the world of ports and commissions. And you? You receive identifiers that do the same thing. They don't exist just for convenience. They exist because systems require tracking. Systems require categorization. Systems require order. And this isn't some small, optional thing. More than 80% of global trade moves by sea. 80%. That's not a side hustle of civilization. That's the spine. That's food on shelves, fuel in tanks, medicine in hospitals, materials in buildings. The world runs because ships follow rules and ports enforce them. So when you entered your port, you entered a world built on structure, rights, responsibilities, benefits, expectations. The system needs you readable. It needs you fileable. It needs you accountable. Then come the contracts, the invisible ink. In shipping, the bill of lading is king. One document binds people who may never meet, in countries that don't share a language, to terms that keep cargo moving and money flowing. It defines who's responsible, who pays, what happens if something breaks, what happens if something disappears. Without contracts, trade becomes a fistfight. Now look at modern life. Contract law is everywhere. Quietly, constantly. You agree without thinking. You consent by signature, by click, by participation, by silence. Terms and conditions, policies, agreements, notices. The system is built on contracts because contracts keep order when trust isn't enough. You don't notice it until you do. Until a problem hits. Until someone says, you agreed. Until a form says, required. Until a policy says, by using this, you accept. That's when you realize the world isn't just happening around you. It's structured, it's written, it's procedural, it's enforceable. And here's the twist most people never consider. In the military, you're not simply done. You're formally released, discharged, cleared. Your status changes on paper, and that paper changes what the world can demand from you. It changes obligations, it changes permissions, it changes what you're subject to and what you're free from. Status isn't a vibe. Status is a legal position. So the real story becomes this: service versus sovereignty. You arrive, you're recorded at the dock, you're treated as part of an organized fleet, moving under rules you didn't write. And for most people, that's where the story ends. because they never learn that systems run on status, and status can change. But captains learn. Captains study charts. Captains learn the laws of the waters they sail. Captains don't assume the harbor master will explain anything. Captains read the fine print before they enter a channel that can trap them. So if any part of this hits you in the chest, if it rings like a bell, don't laugh it off. Don't swipe past it. Follow the thread. Learn the rules of the port. Learn the paperwork. Learn how status works. Learn what release really means. Learn where you've been treated like cargo and where you can step into command. Because you weren't born to be hauled. You were born to navigate. And once you understand the system, you stop drifting. You start steering. So here's your call to action. Stop living like you're just being shipped through life. Start studying like a captain. Start asking better questions. Start reading what you've been signing. Start learning the map. The ocean is wide, but you don't have to be lost.